Hello guys on Substack, subscribers there on Substack and on YouTube. For this video, I will give you my brief views here on, again, the markets that we are looking at, which is silver, gold. We will do some Bitcoin, oil. Looks very interesting. We will go through the big indices, some platinum, some palladium, some copper, coal, gas, you name it. Some uranium as well, just because it's such a big part of, what I'm, into when it comes to commodities. Yeah, uranium. Would you believe it? We will have a look here. So zooming in again, I won't go too much back. And every time I say that, I for some reason show a 10-year chart later on. But again, this is what we're waiting for in the beloved or hated silver. This whole wedge pattern here, that is basically the name of the game right now. Again, this could be the first impulse, the second one here. So two things can happen. It's still a bullish view. Again, we have a bullish consolidation into the previous mega highs here. Um, and so again, the views is still bullish if you look at it at a little bit longer term. Again, you see I did it. Uh, so two things can happen here if the count are to resolve to the upside, which I think it will. We could have a big pop below, basically cleaning every leverage person in the game before that big move. I think, again, I will not give like a rating, but that is definitely in the play. You have the big one, the smaller one, and then you have a small one here. But again, it could be very quick. The second one is, again, you have the two impulses here, and then the third impulse will be a sideways to out. So you're not making a lower low there. So yeah, that is basically the name of the game for silver. Gold, good old gold here. I want to show you the level. The level to watch is 100% in my opinion, 2,725. You can see here the big, breakdown and retest kind of thing there. Pennant wise, we have the squeeze. Again, I'm not totally in love with it. And the reason is when you have these two here, that is almost at the same height. I don't know exactly what, again, this trend line here, I don't trust it fully. So, um, but I have it on there. I know many other people has as well. So we're breaking out here, coming back. So if this is valid, which I could question, we're having a false breakout here on the 2 hourly on gold. But to me, this is still the making of that. Then we'll get a little bit of churn here, and I think you could actually squeeze some sort of setup here where you are getting in before the breakout. Again, in this case, it doesn't really matter that much, but then you have the count ready, and then you can actually go higher. So gold is still looking fine. Again, no, this is not a head and shoulders. I want to show you that right there, in my opinion, is never, ever a head and shoulders. You know the exact reasoning why, and that is the right pit, as you can say here, of the head and shoulders is so low that actually it's more like a bull flag. It's actually way more a bull flag than it is a head and shoulders. Again, head and shoulders, I want to do, you can have it 100% horizontally, or again, it can scoot down a little bit. Again, sometimes some charts you don't, again, liquidity and all that, it can scoot a teeny weeny bit to the downside. Fair enough. Or sloping to the upside. So this again would also be a head and shoulders pattern. This is not a head and shoulders pattern, in my opinion. Never is, because it is so steep. But hey, each to its own. That is just my thoughts. So gold there, again, still consolidating. How much long time do we have to see the big moves? Again, this whole sideways consolidation, I think it will show itself at some point in time. Late January, and that being the ceiling to take out. The big one to me is still that one there. So silver to gold ratio still again looking strong. And again, people are saying that is a head and shoulders. I will accept this one more to some degree. But again, we're still having that lower, pit here compared to the left one. So I might not be totally agreeing with that, but it definitely looked like, again, I know I see it, but again, ideally I would like to have these, because if you have it horizontally or skewing up a bit, there's no confusion. Is it head and shoulders? Is it not? Again, here you have, the talking points, people can agree or disagree, but again, if it's horizontally or sloping up, there is no question that that is a topping pattern. So I think there's also coming out some news or data points, very important here this week. Is it some CPI or something? Again, quote me if I'm wrong on that one. But again, we're still playing with that whole 3-year breakout kind of thing here. And it still looks more bullish than bearish right now. But again, for me to be really excited, we need to get back below the lower one there. And also you have a trend line here. So anything below roughly 87 is really, really, I think the gold to silver ratio is going to crash at that point. But right now, again, it's not, tomorrow. It's not in the cards at the moment here. Bitcoin has done again, broke down below the 72 to the 70, 92K to 91K. Sweep below there, and then we found some buying. Again, surprise, surprise, into the US session. For me, to negate this whole topping pattern will be head, shoulder, neckline breakout. So this could be something like that. You tag it, and then you could break on the fourth. That will be a very beautiful entry, in my opinion, at roughly 96K, give or take. That will be a beautiful one. But until then, again, this one is looming heavily. Yes, we're back above, but we did test, the buyers here. Could we come down again? Cool. What will happen? So the initial reaction here needs to be very steep, in my opinion. If it's just a fade, then it looks grim. But definitely now, we are seeing a lot of buying here. Basically, break even for the day. So Dixie here did puke a little bit here at the highs. Again, we're looking very short term, but nothing really detrimental has happened to the charts. I will, again, this is 2 hourly negative divergence, 100%. The main task is to take out this trend line here. And then, of course, this could be some sort of head and shoulders there. I wouldn't mind where you have the big important 108 level, left shoulder, red, and then we're going to come down. We're going to break the neckline, find some buyers, and then retest with a lower right shoulder. And then at that point in time, I will become, at least short term, extremely bearish on the Dixie. When will that resolve? Again, end of January. I think we can have that moment in time if that is the case. So that is just purely wishful thinking. But if it matures and looks like that, more or less, I know exactly what is in the cards, and we're going to come down hard. Oil, again, we are above 77, peaking above. And now comes the important part. We have rallied from 67 to 77. That is a massive move. We are talking, 15% more or less. And now I want to see it confirm on a longer time frame. Yes, we have broken out, retested on the 2 hourly, but I would like it to have a breakout high, and then we're gonna see a check back, most likely. And then potentially what will happen is, again, bull flagging, whatever, and that's when the confirmation comes in. Either if we take the breakout high very quickly, or if we consolidate, then you have some sort of formation that can get you in confirmation, stop loss below. But right now it's a very good start. Looking at, look at the weekly. I know I didn't want to do it, but here we are anyways. Again, big weekly candles. How is the Bollinger Band looking? We are piercing it, but again, it comes so quickly after a contraction that again, I am expecting a little bit of a pause here. I could be wrong, but yeah. Oil very, very nicely. Again, check out the video that I did last week. I think the setups are fully intact still, and some of them are just really, really good. Rates, we will not cover rates, the SPY here. You can see zooming out that this is the trend line from October 2023, not 2024, but 2023. And you can see we're actually bouncing here for the third time. It looks heavy here, but we did see some buying, and you can see the break down here. below here as well. Now we're sitting there. So it could be, again, that this is where we just start to rally and go again, right? Until proven otherwise here, the uptrend is still very much intact for the SPY. The QQQ did break here. I want to show you. We did, again, similar to Bitcoin, again, similar Bitcoin, QQQ, the exact same thing. Breaking down here and getting back above the 505 level here. And we're seeing a bit of buying here. Volume, not the best, right? But we shall definitely see. This could still easily be some sort of, bull flag if I were to draw it somewhat correctly here, on the fly there. So let's see how it performs. The big one for the NASDAQ is if we remove that, this parallel here is the main, character for this one here. So if we don't hold here, we're definitely going down to like 485 or so. So yeah. Palladium here, again, look at that. I didn't remove it. The wedge into what I think is the right shoulder lows. This is the right shoulder lows. We tagged it here almost to the tick, right? And then we came all the way back down to the splitter there in the middle, and we did see some buying. Platinum could be breaking out here very, very soon. That is actually a good place to buy some physical to do whatever, because I think this is the part of a bigger inverted head and shoulders. Not the prettiest one, but that is definitely what I'm seeing here. The pits being these two at 1,255. So interesting. Platinum here. An old drawing from, I don't remember when, right here. This was the 9th. So 4 days ago. I'm expecting a retest here. I still think that is what is in the making here. At least down to the highs from that high there. So testing the previous high there, or a full retest here at roughly 950. Again, still very much in the making. And yeah, you can see the timing-wise is difficult, but once you break such a pattern here, again, you often test it to confirm it. Copper, the good old copper here. Again, I really like the price action for now. Broken this whole downtrend here, not collapsing, but again, I wouldn't be surprised to see a touchdown to here, like 4.20. The reason is if we zoom in here, this is still a snapback and a bear flag. So that is still very much in the making that we could see that. In order to negate that, obviously, we need to trade above the highs there at 4.35, roughly. Coal here, I want to show you coal. Oil is doing well, gas is doing well. Yes, it did sell off, heavily here during the US session, but to me, we're down like 25%. We tried 2 times. We really tried to break that 152 here, couldn't. Tagged it, breakdown, just utterly collapse. And I haven't really been doing, this for myself, but I think this could be Vikov accumulation. I will need to check, dive into that, but I'm very confident that we're very close to a bounce here in coal. By the way, BTU is up 5% today at the lows. Again, the video that I just released, you can check it out. So I'm expecting at least a little bit of a bounce here, return to mean kind of play for coal, especially if oil starts to really move. Do we want to talk about nickel? Cool, let's do it. Why not? This is, again, we haven't been talking about this for ages. So again, you can see here the initial breakout, retest, rally, and then we all the way back to the lows. We can extend it. So will there be possibilities? Yeah, sure, there will be. But right now for nickel, again, depending on how you draw it, that is probably a tad better. All right. There will be some possibilities. Could this be the low here? Sure. Again, if we are starting to trade above consistently, roughly 15,700, we could argue that we have the 3 impulses in the making here, wedge pattern at the lows there. So if you want to get into nickel, I wouldn't mind, again, if you buy the break. So false breakdown here, getting back above the internal trend lines here, getting back above, as mentioned, roughly, let's call it like 15,700. that is probably a good buy there. Um, don't expect it to shoot to the moon straight away. There's still a ton of work to be done. Um, but yeah, nickel could also be showing some early signs here. This is the candle for gas, heavy selling there. But again, gas here, just look how sporadic it is. It's just really all over the place. Um, have we seen the highs here? Maybe, maybe not. But definitely on the weekly. Again, here we're still above that, 3.6. And yeah, I'm still long nat gas. I think that is about it. Um, I think that is about it. That is my views here. So again, one thing I want to emphasize once again is that I'm really, really on a daily basis using the gold to silver ratio to see where we are. And right now, it is extremely bullish, the ratio that is. And if that is the case, you will not have the gold miners, the silver miners, platinum miners, and all that do well because we need this one to go down. And right now, we are extremely high here, about to break out. If it can break out and we start to reverse, like I showed you initially, I mean, hell yeah, I am a very happy man when that happens if we break down from all this trying to break out. But until then, the miners are struggling heavily. This is a liquidity chart, in my opinion, also, the gold to silver ratio. Um, so, yeah, that is my views, guys. Again, please subscribe if you want to the Substack here, and also on YouTube if you prefer that. I think that's a possibility. It is a possibility, but again, Substack, that is where I do the post as well, also, which I cannot do on YouTube, obviously. So, I mean, the written text of posts. So yeah, let's see what it brings here. Yeah, the Dixie is really getting kicked here into end of day. So that is okay, fair enough. I think we're gonna see that one there. That low there, we're gonna see into that was news driven, I can see. So that is probably where we're going. So yeah, major high here for the Dixie potentially. Cool. Have a great day, guys. Cheers. Bye.